Last episode, we talked about Elsa Perked, oil-haired, runaway, $89 silver nexus changed Tiffany. Crazy enough, right? But she's not the only rebel in the jewelry world. This episode, I'm giving you two.
Last episode, we talked about one woman who didn't follow the rules. She walked away from a fortune, made $89 necklaces, and America lined up to buy them. She proved jewelry doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be covered in diamonds, doesn't have to be a gift from someone else. She redefined what value means. That was just the appetizer. The two in this episode, they're even crazier.
Hey guys, it's your girl Pearl.
Goossens, the metal maniac, who won Chanel's heart. You know why Chanel jewelry doesn't look like jewelry? Because it's not. It's made of broken glass, scrap metal, and rubble. There was a man born into a family of metal casters in Paris's Le Marais, raised on the smell of molten iron. In 1953, Coco Chanel walked into his workshop, picked up a Byzantine-style necklace, and said, "I'll take this." His name is Goossens. You don't need to remember his name, just remember this. On her deathbed, Chanel was wearing his ring. Other jewelers used diamonds. Goossens used broken glass. Others used gold. He used scrap metal. And his fake jewelry sold for more than other people's real jewelry. You know what made Goossens different from everyone else? Others used gold. He used brass. But others put on a thin layer of plating and called it a day. Goossens said, "Not enough. I want heavy plating. I want hand hammering. I want it to look like I used 10 kilos of metal." Others went for light. He went for heavy. Others used real gold and real diamonds. He used brass, broken glass, and rubble, and made things that looked more like jewelry than jewelry. Why? Because he was a metal maniac. His family had been casting metal for 3 generations. He saw metal and wanted to melt it, recast it, turn it into art. Every piece is hand-hammered. Artisans beat it with hammers, one strike at a time, to create textures that are never the same twice. He smashed church-stained glass and melted it into new colors. His glasswork still can't be replicated, not because he hid the recipe, but because it's too complicated. No one wants to learn it. Others looked at his work and said, "It's just brass." He said, "Yeah, brass." Goossens was called the king of fake jewelry. Notice that king of fake jewelry, meaning his fake jewelry was worth more than other people's real jewelry. That's like someone saying, "I'm the king of counterfeit money," but your fake money is more stable than real currency. Is it still fake? That's another kind of real. In 1953, Coco Chanel walked into Goossens' workshop. She picked up a Byzantine-style necklace, took one look, and said, "I'll take this." They started working together. Chanel provided the inspiration. Goossens provided the craft. One handled the what, the other handled the how. Chanel said, "Jewelry isn't about showing off wealth. It's about beauty." Goossens said, "Right, I don't even use gemstones." That might be the most in-sync conversation in jewelry history. Two people agreeing that beauty doesn't need to be expensive. And then they sold that idea for millions. In her later years, Coco Chanel wore a Goossens lava ring. Not because she couldn't afford better, but because that ring came from someone who turned broken glass into art, someone raised on the smell of molten iron, who took church-stained glass and made a ring that Chanel wore until her last day. Tell me, is that expensive or not? Send this to anyone who thinks luxury is about the price tag, because luxury is about who made it. Goossens understood that. Now you do too. So, when you look at a Chanel Byzantine necklace, what are you looking at? Are you looking at gemstones? No, you're looking at someone who picked up broken glass and said, "I can make this worth more than diamonds." And then, he did it. That's the real value of jewelry. Not what it's made of, but that there's someone behind it who said, "I don't follow the rules." Wallis Simpson, the woman who wore a necklace of hate like a medal of love.
The next story is about a necklace that was deliberately made short, so short that wearing it too long would leave marks on your neck. In 1937, the Duke of Wallis's mother gave it to her new daughter-in-law, Wallis.
It was the only gift Queen Mary ever gave to Mrs. Simpson. A gift with no blessing, a gift filled with hate, and Mrs. Simpson wore it for life. Why? Because she won. She wore her mother-in-law's hate and lived a happy life. In 1936, Edward VIII gave up the throne for Mrs. Simpson. His mother, Queen Mary, one of the greatest jewelry collectors in the world, didn't attend the wedding, didn't meet her, didn't say a single word of blessing, but she had to send a gift. Royal protocol must be observed. So she sent this pearl choker, made of 28 natural pearls, only about 35.5 centimeters long, hugging the neck so tightly it looked like a custom-made yoke. The press said, "The length of this necklace is the perfect metaphor for the distance between the Duke of Windsor and the royal family." My reading is more direct. This was a mother-in-law's smiling chokehold to her daughter-in-law. "Welcome to the family. Here's your gift." The choking kind. Have you ever seen more sophisticated hate than this? No, because Queen Mary didn't curse, didn't raise a hand, didn't lose her temper. She just smiled and handed her daughter-in-law a necklace and said, "Put it on. It fits perfectly. So perfectly that breathing is a bit difficult." Then, the twist. Wallis Simpson, the woman who was cast out of the British royal family, wore it for life. From her wedding to her husband's funeral, from her prime to her silver hair. At almost every major occasion, she wore this necklace. She even added a pearl pendant, making it a complete pearl three-piece set. You know what that's called? That's called, "You hate me. I'll wear your hate for the rest of my life. And I'll look amazing doing it." The mother-in-law's chokehold became her lifelong badge of honor. Have you seen a more brutal revenge than this? No. Because a truly ruthless woman decorates herself with your hatred. You think that's a choking necklace? No. To her, that was a medal for winning. Save this video. Next time someone tries to sell you a piece of jewelry that tells a story, ask them, whose story? Because now you know the real ones, and they're way better than the ones they put in the ads.
In 1987, that pearl shader, the one used by a mother-in-law choke her daughter-in-law, sold for over $7,000. Wallis Simpson won. She wore her hatred necklace, aged gracefully, and then even that necklace appreciated in value. One piece of jewelry can hold hate, love, and vanity all at once. That's the scariest thing about jewelry. It doesn't speak, but everyone hears what they want to hear. Queen Mary heard hate, the Duke heard love, and Wallis Simpson heard, "I win."
3 women. 3 kinds of rebellion. One walked away from a fortune and made $89 necklaces that sold out across America. Was she designing jewelry? No. She was saying, women can buy things for themselves. One turned down diamonds and picked up broken church glass instead. Coco Chanel wore his ring on her deathbed. Was he making jewelry? No. He was saying, value isn't about the material, it's about who made it. One was given a necklace designed to choke her, and she wore it for life. Was she wearing jewelry? No. She was saying, "You hate me. I'll wear your hate and live a full life." The most beautiful version of jewelry isn't about how much it costs. It's about the person standing behind it and how deeply they refuse to follow the rules. Have you ever bought yourself a piece of jewelry, no occasion, no reason, just because you wanted it? Tell me your story in the comments. Or do you think jewelry has to come with a story to be worth anything? Debate me. Let's see who shows up. I'm Pearl, and this is the Absolute V. Subscribe if you want to know what's actually in your jewelry box and your feed.